We're going to learn how to use or, and, not, and also how we can change images inside one picture box so we don't have to have a zillion picture boxes. If you look in the resources, you'll see there's already 9 images preloaded into this program. I've already imported them. You can also go to the properties. If you go to project and then choose properties, there's a list on the left of several things, including resources, and there are the 9 images. If you don't see them, go over to here where you have images. There's strings, images, icons, audio, files. You might have to change that to images. And here are the 9 images that have already been imported into this project. The big action happens when you click on the display the picture. And I've got 3 constant identifiers, Snoopy, Clifford, and Garfield. It'll be easier to just use those and instead of trying to remember which one is 1, 2, or 3. Animal number and picture number are going to be integers that the users enter into text boxes. So a try-catch is already set up in case the users did not enter a numeric value. So we'll test it out. If I type in dog in that first text box, it goes down to the catch, and there is the error message. I'll type cat into the second text box, and there's the error message that comes up in the catch. And it's a decent error message about entering just 1, 2, and 3. That would be a good message even if the users did put in a numeric value that wasn't 1, 2, or 3. So let's use an if and force an exception to be thrown. We can make that happen. So I'll start with if animal number is less than 1. Or, and that's going to be pipes. It's a double vertical line. If you look above enter, you'll see a backslash and then shift, and that on that key will give you the double vertical lines, which are the pipes. That means or. So if animal number is less than 1, or animal number is greater than 3, or if picture number is less than 1, or if picture number is greater than 3. If any of those things are true, remember with or, just one thing has to be true. If any of those things are true, we've got a problem. And we're going to go ahead and throw new exception. And we need to put parentheses there. And we're doing this time because our error message in the catch is so good, there's no sense in repeating it. We'll just go ahead and throw a new exception, send the users down to the catch, and skip everything else that would happen. But those pipes, those double vertical lines, and you find them above enter, mean or. And for or, only one thing has to be true out of all the things you list. So I'm trying it with something greater than 3 there and greater than 3 on the other one. You might want to pause the video and try a number less than 1 on either of those spots to make sure that it actually works. But those pipes mean or, and or is if any one of those is true. They don't all need to be true. Just one thing needs to be true. If your parents say you have to wash the dog or clean your room before you can hang out with your friends, you could do both, but you only have to do one of them. Let's see if this animal is not Snoopy. The not operator is an exclamation point. That reverses whether something is true or false. So it reverses the truth value or gives you the opposite. So we'll see if animal number does not equal. And it's not a double equal symbol there, it's just not equal to Snoopy. Again, I'm not using a number there. It's hard to remember what number is Snoopy, Garfield, and Clifford. I'll just use Snoopy. It's all set up. So if animal number is not equal to Snoopy or not equivalent to Snoopy, then I've got a label set up. The LBL not Snoopy.text thing is going to be where's Snoopy? We'll check it out. Snoopy is a 1. So if I type in 2, oh, I forgot I need to fill in both text boxes. I went to the catch part of the try catch. I had to fill them both in. And there, where's Snoopy? Because Snoopy was the number 1. So if I type in a 1, no message pops up. It only happens if animal number is not equivalent to Snoopy. And Snoopy is a constant value. It's always 1. Well, Snoopy and Clifford are both dogs. Garfield is a cat. So let's display the animal type. So if animal number is equivalent to Snoopy, which is 1, or, so we'll use those pipes again, animal number is equivalent to Clifford. If either one of those is true, we know we've got a dog. So I've got LBL animal, and we'll display something about the fact that there's going to be a dog. Else, because there's only two possibilities. We've either got a dog or we've got a cat. So I don't need to really list any other conditions. I'll just use else. You selected a cat. And I'll get some semicolons where they need to go. And we'll test this out. One is Snoopy, and that's a dog. I'm using reset because we have not yet put a text changed event in. 3 is a cat, that's Garfield. I'll reset it. And 2 is Clifford, which also triggers Where's Snoopy. So did Garfield trigger that. So that was the if else. Either a dog or a cat. Guaranteed to be one of those two things, but only one of those two things. Well, now let's look at assigning an image to the picture box. And we'll start by using and. That's a double ampersand. That's the symbol above the 7. A lot of people call it the and symbol. Technically, it's an ampersand, and we need 2 of them. So if animal number is equivalent to Snoopy and picture number is equivalent to 1. With and, both things must be true. If you have to wash the dog and clean your room to hang out with your friends, you've got to do both. So both of these things must be true. If they are, then pickAnimal.image equals properties.resources. And I'll just pick one of these. I'll start with Snoopy Red Baron. I'll go with that image. So that happens if animal number is 1, which is Snoopy, and picture number is 1. They both must be true. And there we go. I'll make another if. If animal number is equivalent to Snoopy, and picture number is equivalent to 2. If those are both true, we'll give them a different image. Properties.resources.Snoopy Thanksgiving. And you see we're using the same picture box every time, just changing the image property. And I'll make another if animal number is equivalent to Snoopy, which is 1, and picture number is equivalent to 3, then we'll put a different image in pickAnimal.image. Properties.resources. And the last one is Snoopy_pink. And we can check this out. Snoopy is a 1. There's the Red Baron. There's Thanksgiving. And there it is with a pink background. And again, sorry, we haven't done the text changed events yet. These are all separate ifs. The program would actually check every single one of them. But the truth is it can only really be one of them. So we could make these else ifs if we wanted to. And it would actually speed things up just a little bit, even though computers run pretty fast. Because as soon as one of those things is true, it will skip the rest of them. So it's going to run the same. As you'll see when we put all these different images into the boxes based on the picture numbers we select. So that's using and. When we use and, both things have to be true. You may have noticed that it gets a little repetitive in that if block up there. Every one of them has Snoopy as true. So sometimes we can turn these into nested ifs. I'll do that with Clifford. So if animal number is equivalent to Clifford, which is 2, but it's a lot easier to just use Clifford, then I don't have to remember what 2 stands for. Okay, now we'll deal with the picture numbers. So the only way into this if block is if animal number is equivalent to Clifford. Now, if picture number is equivalent to 1, then we're going to make pickAnimal.image equal one of the Clifford pictures. So pickAnimal.image equals properties.resources and one of the Clifford images. I'll just start with Clifford Beach. Then we can use else if, because it's only going to be one of these things. So if picture number is equivalent to 2, we'll stick a different Clifford image into properties.resources here for sticking it actually into the image property of pickAnimal. And lastly, I'll just use else. There's only 3 of them, and I've already guaranteed with the earlier on that they only could type in a 1, 2, or a 3. So pickAnimal.image equals properties.resources. The last Clifford thing. Clifford in the yard. So let's see Clifford. Clifford is 2. So There it is, the first one on the beach, with a cake, and in the yard. Let's take a look at how the program goes through this in this nested if. So type in a 3, now that's Garfield, 2 is Clifford. So animal number is 2, Clifford is also 2, so we do go into this if, and then it's going to start checking out these inner ifs. Picture number I'll add to the watch. That was a right click I used, and I can add to the add watch down in the bottom left there. Picture number is 2, so it's not 1. So as I step into, and this is an older version of Visual Studio, you need that icon, but you might use F11 instead of F8. We get into the proper else if. And if you get a message like that one right there, usually you just click that it's okay and you're fine. So we can see the path that it took, and it skips the rest. Got a lot of braces going on here, so I'll take a quick look and see that there's where Clifford starts, and there's where Clifford actually ends. So I'll make a little note to myself that this ends the if block for Clifford. And this one ends that whole if block with if, else if, else if. That's the end of the one for Snoopy. But we still have Garfield to go. So you can pause the video, give yourself a little space after Clifford here, and you get Garfield to show up with 3 different images. Welcome back. Here's how I did it, again with a nested if. You could also use ands as we did with Snoopy. And I'll test it out. Garfield's a 3. There's picture 1. I'm going to use reset because, again, we haven't yet put text changed in there yet. There's picture 2 and picture 3. And I like how I put at the top that that was Garfield. I'm going to also add that to Clifford and Snoopy. It makes it really easy for me to see later on, or someone else who's coding in the program. If I'm working for a company where we're working in a group, which happens a lot, it's easy to see when you first look at this where Snoopy's block starts and ends, and Clifford's and Garfield's. You'll notice in the reset I had this pick animal.image equals null. Null is unavailable, unassigned, unknown. It's absolute nothingness, which is what we wanted when we cleared out the picture. We're going to need to use that idea here in this text changed event also. So pick animal.image equals null. Make sure you say .image. If you make pick animal equal null, that means it's turned into nothingness. It's totally disappeared from the code, but it'll still be on your form, which will be very confusing to you because you won't understand why you can't do anything with it anymore. So make sure it's pick animal.image equals null. And then I'll make the text values for the labels be blank. And I'll copy and paste this also into the txt picture number text change event. They both need to wipe out the labels and remove any images from pick animal. So now this looks a lot better. Type in 1 and 2, display the picture. If I change any of the values, the image goes away, forcing me to have to click on display picture to get another image to show up. And we're told whether it's a dog or a cat. If it's not Snoopy, we're asked where Snoopy is, and we're getting the different images based on the picture number. And of course, Garfield, Snoopy, and Clifford are determined by the animal number. So OR is the pipes. It's that double vertical line. It's above enter using shift. And is double ampersand. And not is an exclamation point.